Down in Taylor, Michigan. You are your hosts for this week's Outside Blitz. I'm all Alex Steele and the fabulous Scotty Greyhound. Ladies and gentlemen, the Outside Blitz, I am your host, the fabulous Scotty Greyhound. Joining me to my left, nothing again, all Alex Steele. Joining me to my left, hey. Time. Great time. A lot of beer, a lot of brisket. So I started these weight loss drugs a little while ago, and what they happen is they make you eat less. And they fill you up quicker. I mean, or like it tells your brain something. Well, I Then I made a brisket one year. I just did it. I didn't make it for our league. I did it for a dynasty league. My microphone sounds like my ass. Oh, that's not good. It might be me, to be honest with you, because my whole like voice is just torn up from the floor up. I'll be honest with you. I feel awful. So it might be a me thing. That might be it. What's going on? So if that is the issue, that might be what's going on. So we've got a situation where I was looking at my yeah, it doesn't sound like Friday. Oh, it just sounds a little echoey. Maybe it's a little loud. So anyway, I apologize for that. We'll see if we can troubleshoot and fix that. But in any case, Alex is on it right now. But in any case, we are normally very much into the pulled pork and whatever the case may be. And man, I'll tell you what, I jumped into the brisket for that Dynasty League one year. And when I jumped into the brisket, like don't do anything else. Do the brisket. We'll go ahead and mess with the brisket, and it just became a thing. Nobody wants anything else other than the brisket. Okay, you got it. So that's what people get now. They get the brisket. Yeah, Scott and Alex in the same room. Zion.
No, sir, you are not.
You are not hallucinating.
You are not hallucinating.
We are here. So the brisket became a thing. This year I did a 25-pound brisket. And it sounds like the microphone thing has been corrected a little bit. Thank you, Alex. It sounds like it's been corrected. We've been fooling around with the microphone, Zion. So I appreciate you. Yeah, I know it sounded a little glitchy there, but in any case, I did a 25-pound brisket this year, which I have never done.
Right.
I've done 20-pounders. I've done 17-pounders. Biggest brisket I've ever done in my life. And it was just enormous. And it was such a big brisket, I actually had to separate the flat from the point and put it on two different pans, which I've never done.
Yeah, so like the flat is like the flat part of the brisket.
Yeah.
It's actually two parts of the same meat.
Yeah.
So, and they come apart at a certain place. So the point is a little more moist and hold a little more flavor than the flat. So the flat is really good for sandwiches.
Yeah, flat is really like you can slice up the flat really easy, but I actually had to separate the two, and you got to separate it at a certain angle. And we had a good friend of the show, and one of the guys that's part of the podcast, Neil, or I'm sorry, part of the league, Neil. He came by and he was actually kind of watching me do it, and he was like, "Man, that is a fucking massive brisket there. You got insane." So we had brisket, we had cheesy potatoes, we had beans, we did the whole deal. It was a good time. And now we are we drafted our league 16 rounds. All 16 rounds of the draft got done yesterday. It actually went pretty quick. Believe it or not, I'm actually very proud of the team I drafted. I feel wonderful. So I'm excited about how my team looks in our league, and this will be year 6 of the Bob Wilson Memorial League. I can't believe this league has been going on, but this league I decided, because when I started it, it was like I always wanted to just run my own fantasy league. I'm like, you know what, this league's going to go on until I die. Like, I am going to do this league forever, every single year, no matter what. I will make this league happen. So, yeah, Zion, it was a big brisket, man. It was huge. It was a 25-pound brisket. And really, usually when you trim a brisket up, you're going to take, pounds of fat off that thing. Man, there was not a lot of fat on it. It was it had really good marbling, but it wasn't like a stupid fatty brisket where I was pulling off like a shitload of fat on it. I was like, man, I think I found a gem here. Mm-hmm. So it turned out great. I still have some leftover. Yeah, it was awesome. 2 days left, baby. Yeehaw.
To what exactly?
To 2 days left till. I mean, that's the question of the day. 2 days left.
Although it's probably a special occasion for our friend Zion. One thing that we need to say is it's about 3 weeks until the regular season starts.
Yes, sir. We got football right around the corner. Mm-hmm. Preseason games have been starting. All the preseason or your special day. Your special day. What? Your birthday. Well, happy birthday. Zion the potato, so you get to enjoy that. Happy birthday, my friend.
Mr. Friend.
Yeah. You want Alex to pop out of a cake. That's what you want. Happy birthday, Mr. President.
I charge for that.
Yeah. $20 is $20. But
you got a covered brand too, brother. So anyway,
we got preseason news around the corner here. We got stuff going on. Let's talk about some of these preseason things we got going on. We got a lot of training camp stuff happening right now, so we're going to talk about that. But let's jump in. First of all, let's talk about the Panthers. They got running back Chuba Hubbard currently dealing with a hamstring injury. He's currently considered week to week. Head coach Dave Canales says he expects Hubbard to be ready for week 1. This is kind of an interesting thing, and it wouldn't be such a big deal. Here's the problem. Chuba Hubbard dealt with some injuries last year, almost lost the job to Rico Dowdle. And I say almost because when Hubbard came back, it was almost like a split backfield. And it was it was kind of an interesting little situation where it was like, okay, they still were focused on giving Hubbard the bulk of the carries. I thought Rico Dowdle was the better runner. Mm-hmm. I would have kept Rico Dowdle on that team. I was amazed that they let Rico Dowdle go to free agency because Rico Dowdle was such just a monster, really. I mean, he played he was better than Chuba Hubbard. And to me, at this stage, I would totally have kept Dowdle. Now, with Chuba Hubbard being the way he is and being injured like he is, you have Jonathan Brooks, who's looking really good in preseason, who's been looking really good in camp. All reports are saying that Jonathan Brooks is looking like a monster. So, at this point, Chuba Hubbard, if you're the Panthers, are you regretting paying Chuba Hubbard the big contract that you just gave him? Because they did give him a really good-sized contract last season. Are you regretting that? Well, I think it was before last season. Are you regretting that contract right now? Or are you sitting here, are you considering starting Jonathan Brooks? Are you considering a split backfield here? What are we looking at with Carolina?
I honestly believe that this sounds like a backup committee situation. Mm-hmm. Now, if you want to rest up Chuba and if you say he's going to be ready for week 1, okay, that's cool. It's a hammy. Yeah. It's not like it's an ACL or an MCL or anything like that, but a hamstring, you do kind of need to keep that tender so that you can, shoot people out of their shoes.
Yeah.
I would say I wouldn't be concerned. I mean, the moment I would have buyer's remorse is when there's a non-contact injury. He's playing at MetLife Stadium.
Yeah.
As an example. and he's holding his knee, and he's in agony, and I'm like, he's out for the year. That's when I would start getting concerned. I don't have any concern right now. If you did draft Jonathan Brooks in your fantasy team, you should have a little bit of you should pat yourself on the back, because now it's like, it may still be a committee by running back, but they're probably going to give Jonathan Brooks some work.
You almost have to handcuff him. At that point, you got it. If you get Chuba Hubbard, you gotta handcuff him with Jonathan Brooks, and it's one of those things now where it's like I don't fully trust Chuba Hubbard because of now we're going on 2 years in a row of injury issues. He had the one really great year back in 24. He had a really, really good year. 25, we're dealing with the injuries. 26 now, we'll have to wait and see. So pay attention to what's going on in Carolina. They also go out and sign tight end Darren Waller to a 1-year deal. Why?
What?
Why?
He's still around?
Yeah. Came out of retirement last year, and then he played the one season. It really didn't do much. I don't understand why they signed this. You have Jatavion Sanders, and I understand Jatavion Sanders hasn't done a lot. I feel like he's been underutilized. You're talking about a pass catching tight end that you barely used. I don't get why you're not using Jatavion Sanders the way that you should be. Waller only had I think it was just over 200 yards last year. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. On a 1-year, $1.3 million deal, none of it's fully guaranteed. It's just, to me, it's a waste of time. I think it's a waste of time, waste of money. I don't get it.
No, I don't get it either. I mean, the last time he had any postable numbers to talk about was 2023.
Yeah.
And he only popped a 69.4 overall PFF grade with a 73.1 receiving grade. Mm-hmm. He had 24 catches for 283 yards and 6 touchdowns. I mean, there are backup tight ends that get more work than this.
Yeah.
So at this rate, it's like, stop.
Yeah, it's a waste of $1 million.
Stop. Have it make TikTok videos in the park.
I don't understand. I don't get the logic of signing Waller to this extension, but hey, here we are. Darren Waller getting signed to deals. The Falcons around that division also making moves. Let's talk about Zadarius Smith getting signed to a 1-year, $6 million deal. It's worth up to $8 million with incentives. We got some interesting stuff with the Falcons. See, this is all interconnected. So first of all, we do know that they lost one of their big linebackers. Well, they do lose their defensive end, James Pierce. He gets suspended by the league for 8 games for violating the league's personal conduct policy. If you recall, he had a situation back in February where it was a domestic dispute with his ex-girlfriend, racked up felony charges of aggravated battery and with a deadly weapon and fleeing and resisting arrest and all this other stuff. He was... It was just an insane thing. He fled, and then they had to chase him down. It was crazy. But James Pierce winds up getting suspended. He gets placed on the commissioner's exempt list, 8 games, so he'll be out.
Yeah, that's half a season, kids.
Yeah. So in turn, because they need an edge rusher, they need a good defensive end, they go out and find Zadarius Smith. So they find, and Zadarius Smith is still out there. I mean, to me, okay. So for the first time, we'll say, "You big dummy, you big dummy." Yeah, and he's a big dummy. And to me, I'm going to sit here and go, "Look, you dummy." I'm going to say, Zadarius Smith is going to wind up stealing that job. Zadarius Smith still plays at a decently high level. 1 year, $6 million, $8 million with incentives. That's very low risk, high reward for the Falcons. They get themselves a good outside linebacker, edge rusher. I like Zadarius Smith.
And this kind of reminds me of when he played with the Detroit Lions. Mm-hmm. And
he's a mercenary.
Yeah. But here's the thing: Zadarius Smith wanted to stay in Detroit.
He did, and
Detroit let him walk. Mm-hmm. So I was heavily critical of Brad Holmes for making that decision, or indecision. So I'd be very curious to see how Zadarius Smith operates under these circumstances. I think that he'll help out the Falcons for sure. But time will tell.
Yeah,
I mean that. But I'm definitely reminded of that.
Yeah, I look at Zadarius Smith, and he's been a mercenary that's sort of been floating around the league a little bit. He went from Baltimore to the Vikings to Detroit to Cleveland to I mean he's been all over the league now. I mean he's just been just making his way around, just floating, and now he finds himself, with the Falcons, who desperately need an edge rusher. They lost Jalen Walker. You lose James Pierce for 8 games. So now it's like, all right, well, Zadarius Smith, here you go.
I mean, it's a Band-Aid on a stab wound, but you need a lot more help than that.
They're going to need it. And then they go out, the Falcons, they can't, if their luck, if they didn't have bad luck, they wouldn't have any luck. They go out last week, we talked about the fact that they signed Trey Sermon to a 1-year deal. Well, he's gone. Trey Sermon on IR just 1 week after being signed. So
you get
Trey Sermon,
nothing.
He's gone.
You lose.
I
Good
don't
day,
know
sir.
what the hell is going on with that. It just seems like they are struggling with the idea of Trey Sermon staying on the field, staying healthy, and whatever the case may be.
Yeah, I think we might have figured something else out, but just keep on going.
Yeah. So Trey Sermon, and that's another guy. Like, we thought coming out of Ohio State, he was actually going to have himself a decent career. We were sitting here, like, I remember, I was like, oh, I like that Trey Sermon kid out of Ohio State. And a lot of people were high on him a few years back. Oh, look at Trey Sermon. And no, he has not panned out. He went to San Francisco, and it was like, all right, he's in San Francisco, that's great. And then he goes to he gets cut from San Francisco. He basically got beat out for the starting job, and because he had an opportunity to start, and it just didn't pan out. It really didn't. And now he's been floating around the league a little bit. He gets his 1-year deal, and now 1 week later, gone.
So you get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
That's exactly where I'm at. I am done with the Trey Sermon experiment. I think the league is about done with it as well.
Yeah, I mean, we thought we saw him in college.
Yeah.
He was great in college.
Ran very well.
Yeah, but the fact of the matter is, I mean, the top 2 commandments we preach here on the show is availability and reliability, and he has proven to be neither.
Yeah. It's I just don't. Sometimes you see a player like that where they're just so hot in college, and it's like, man, this guy's going to be great. Yeah, not so much. Not in the case of Trey Sermon. It was just like, no. So we've got that going on. Speaking of the NFC South, the Saints, they got a big problem. The rookie wide receiver Jordan Tyson, who they drafted in the first round, currently dealing with a hamstring injury. He's expected to miss 2 months. So
that's not good.
Not good, especially when they expected him to be that big-time complement to Chris Olave, who was the number 6 receiver in all of football last year.
Right.
Jordan Tyson, I really liked him as a vertical threat, but this is a common theme when it comes to Jordan Tyson. If you look at his career, and it was something that Boots talked about, if he can stay healthy.
Right.
And health was like the big asterisk on his career. And a lot of people, in fantasy have been, I'm going to go get Jordan Tyson. I mean, even yesterday, Jordan Tyson, because of the hamstring injury, he slid in a lot of the fantasy drafts and whatever the case may be. And actually, one of our fantasy buddies, Dak Miller, picked him up really, really late in our draft because nobody wanted to touch him because he's going to be out for 2 months.
Right, and just in case you're playing a home game, kids, the NFL season, the regular season, that's about 4 to 5 months.
Mm-hmm.
So again, half the season.
Yeah.
So it's like, what are we doing? I mean, you've already earned yourself a training camp, and when you get back on the field, are you going to be in football shape?
Yep.
That's another big question you have to ask.
Yeah, it's interesting. If you wind up missing a game or two, it's not like baseball. Where baseball, you got 160 games, and you're out here, you miss 10 games, and it's a chunk, but you still have an opportunity.
It matters.
The significance is way more impactful, and it's just
case in point. Bo Nix sat out the AFC Championship game because he broke his foot on that last drive.
One game.
Yeah. But, I mean, and again, one game at the AFC Championship. No kidding. Well, here's the deal. Bo Nix starts that game, the Broncos go to the Super Bowl.
Oh, probably. Yeah.
But,
I think.
even if it's the regular season, you know, you can have like.
That's a big swing.
It's a very big swing.
Those games are far more weighted than they are in any other sport, than in baseball, basketball, any of that, because those are much more long seasons. There's more games, you know. Even in basketball, you're talking 82 games. You know, in hockey, you're talking 82 games. In all the major sports, you're talking these elongated seasons of 80 or more games, 82 or more games. Football is way different, you know.
You only get 17.
Yeah, so I mean, you gotta make an impact. You gotta be there. So now Jordan Tyson out, and then on top of it, Saints running back Alvin Kamara is expected to miss at least the next month after suffering a sprained MCL in Tuesday's practice.
So it's about a quarter rip of a season.
Yep. So now Alvin Kamara expected to miss the next month. So
and he doesn't have that much tread left on the tires himself. He's 30 years old.
yeah, he's an older guy. What's interesting about Kamara, you know, they have this massive committee of running backs over there, but they just signed Travis, and now it's been corrected multiple times. Travis Etienne is how it's pronounced, folks. I guess, you know, here's my thing. Years ago, when he first was coming out, I was calling him Travis Etienne because that's what I believed it was. And people go, no. I was corrected. No. It's not Etienne. It's Etienne. Okay, so we're just pronouncing every syllable. Got it. And then for the next X amount of years, we've been calling him Travis Etienne.
Yeah.
And now, here we are later on.
Yesterday afternoon.
And it was within the last couple of weeks. Oh, no, it's Travis Etienne himself comes out and says it's Etienne. So I'm like, okay. So I was pronouncing it right the whole time.
Oh, my God.
And I was right from the get, damn it. I was so mad.
That's just gumbo. That's just Creole mumbo jumbo.
I got corrected, but in any case, Andy, unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
So, but Etienne is how it's pronounced. But you're going to see Etienne. He's going to be the guy that's going to take over in this situation. He's going to be the guy that becomes the bell cow. And he's shown that he can be the bell cow. And I think he's a very similar running back to Alvin Kamara. So it's sort of a 1-for-1. And Etienne doesn't really have the same he doesn't have the same injury history as Kamara. So I think it's going to be really just an okay thing. I think the Saints are going to be just fine in that scenario. Like I said, it's a 1-for-1. I think they were getting ready to split carries anyway. Etienne does have the experience as the number one back with Jacksonville, so he's going to be a number one back in New Orleans. I mean, this is going to be nothing different for him. I think he's going to be just fine. You know, and I think the Saints are going to be just fine from that perspective, from a running back perspective. But they're going to have to get through 2 months without having, you know, Jordan Tyson on the field. So offensively, if you recall, though, they didn't struggle too much last year, at the end of last year. In fact, they were red hot at the end of last year, and Olmo is on their side. Mo momentum. I think the Saints are going to be absolutely wonderful. I think they're going to do a bang up job this year, and they have a soft schedule. I don't know if a lot of people. I don't know if a lot of people realize that the Saints have a soft schedule this year. They
right. So yeah, if you take a look at this, yeah, obviously they have a road game to start against the Detroit Lions.
Sure.
It'd be pretty short straw to draw anyway.
Right.
Then you got the Baltimore Ravens on the road. So in the first 2 games are probably going to be a little bumpy, but then check this out. Raiders, Falcons, Vikings at home. New York Giants on the road, Steelers at home, Browns at home, Panthers at home. You got a tough skid against the Bears. The Saints can beat the Bengals.
Oh yeah,
anybody can beat the Bengals.
Yeah.
I mean, Joe Burrow and Sir Jamar Chase can put up 45 points. They'll still lose by 3.
Oh yeah.
You know, Packers, that might be a tough one. But then Panthers, Bucks, Cardinals, Falcons, and Bucks again to round out the season.
Yeah.
I think you're going to be fine.
Easy schedule. And with how they played, and Tyler Shuck seemed to have figured out, the whole quarterback thing. He seemed to, like they always say, the game slowed down for him. The game slowed down. That's the reality. He looked great last year, and at the end of last year, he blew all of us away because we thought that he was going to be garbage. And really, with how he looked at the combine, it wouldn't have surprised me if he looked like garbage, all year long. But I mean, realistically, he showed up and showed out. Tyler Shuck surprised a lot of people, myself included. So, be on the lookout for Tyler Shuck this year and the New Orleans Saints. They might, and I believe they're going to win that division. And they have, I want to say it's like the 5th easiest schedule or 4th easiest schedule. They got one of the easier schedules in football. So pay attention to those New Orleans Saints this year, as much as I hate to say it. Also, the Tampa Bay Bucks around that division. Defensive tackle Vita Vea gets signed to a 1-year, $30 million extension. Look, when it comes to Vita Vea, let's talk about Vita Vea for a second. Look, for Vita Vea, they needed to get it done, right?
Yes.
They needed to make the guy happy to get him on the field for this year.
They had to do something.
But here's the thing that gets me about this. Why would you not get Vita Vea signed to a longer extension than 1 year? We'll start there.
Yeah.
But the other thing that gets me about this is it really makes me feel like this 1-year extension was just to get him on the field for this year, and then they're going to deal him next offseason. I have a feeling that Vita Vea is like, I feel like Vita Vea is on his way to being a trade candidate. I think he's going to be gone. I really do think that he's going to be out, and they're going to be taking him and going, here you go, Vita Vea. Like anybody want him? They're going to try and get something for that guy, and that's why I think it's a 1-year deal at $30 million. And here you go, one of the best defensive tackles in football. They're going to go into straight rebuild, and there's something going on with this Baker Mayfield thing. I don't know why they haven't signed him to an extension. I have a feeling that Baker Mayfield is going to end up being, either a free agent or whatever. They might send Baker to free agency. Yeah, he might be headed that route. And hey, Vikings, if Kyler doesn't work out, that's your guy. Like there are teams out there that should be staring that dude down. Like,
yes, sir.
If Baker Mayfield is available, dude, I'd be taking Baker Mayfield all day. Like, God damn it. Like at $50 million, like you pay that man $50 million. Pay him. He's a gamer. He's a baller.
100%. I mean, it's baffling to see how, he's a competitor.
Mm-hmm.
He's, I want to try to see like how old he is, but yeah, he's 31. So, he's getting a little, but, quarterbacks don't age like running backs do.
Oh, yeah.
Quarterbacks still have, plenty of tread on the tires. And Tom Brady basically shattered any pretense of, 40-year-olds can't play quarterback. Just tell Tom Brady that, and then he'll tell you to go F yourself.
Baker's what, 31?
He's 31.
Okay.
6'1", 215 pounds. So, he's still got a lot of tread left on the tires.
Oh yeah, he does.
And he'll fight for you as long as you as long as you pay him what he's worth.
He battles, he'll talk shit. If he feels like you're investing in him, and if he feels like you want him there, he'll want to be there.
Mm-hmm.
That's the big thing about Baker Mayfield is like, oh, these guys are investing in me, I will work for them. And then in this Vita Vea signing, you had to get him back on the field. You couldn't just let him stand there.
No.
And be a hold-in. You couldn't do that. It's good that they got him back on the field. They should be making your cornerstone pieces happy. You should be making your cornerstone pieces. Okay, I've got Vita Vea, I got Baker Mayfield. Here's my long-term for the next 4 years. And instead, what they're going to do, they're going to enter this rebuild situation. That's what they're aiming for. I'm telling you right now, I'm reading the tea leaves here, and I'm just going, they're about to go into a full rebuild. That's what it's about to be.
I think it's going to be a rebuild like on the level of the Dolphins, or
they're about to sell the farm because if you have Baker Mayfield and you're refusing to sign him, and then you only signed Vita Vea to a 1-year extension, why is it only a 1-year extension?
It's not like Vita Vea is old, and it's not like Vita Vea is not playing at this like at a high level. Vita Vea this is a top 5 defensive tackle in football. Like he is. We talk about guys on the defensive side of the ball. We talk about it. Cam Hayward in Pittsburgh, right? This is the term we're gonna have to use. The fuck up guy.
Yep.
Right. He's the fuck up guy. He's the guy that is good. You have to watch him, and you plan your whole defense around that one guy, and that's Vita Vea. Like when you play the Bucs, you have to plan your whole defense around that one guy, because if you don't, it's game over. That's it. And so when you have Vita Vea and you're only signing to a 1-year deal, that tells me you're thinking short term. That tells me that you're probably going to be selling the farm as of next season. So after this season, I expect the Buccaneers to either send Baker Mayfield to free agency, and I think they're going to trade Vita Vea, and I think he's going to be on the block, and you're going to see Vita Vea go elsewhere. But that this is just them appeasing him for the moment to get him on the field.
Right, and it's not like the Buccaneers have a particularly easy schedule themselves.
No.
I mean, yes, they got the AFC North. They got the Bengals and the Browns to start the season.
Yeah.
Then they host Minnesota and Green Bay. Then they got to match up in Dallas with the Cowboys. Then they got to go face the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's the thing. They have the AFC North this year.
That's actually a tough little ride there, those 4 games.
Listen, I mean, because the AFC North, the Bengals and the Browns, we give them crap for, their organizational failures, but they always have some stout defenses, and they always have some, and the Bengals have one of the best offenses in football.
Yeah. Their defense. Bengals' defense always sucks, but their offense will still they'll put up some points on you.
Right.
They will tear you up. So I mean,
then of course you have your own division to worry about with the Panthers and the Panthers, the Saints, and that other team, the Falcons. Yeah. So
I mean, they basically should be that other team with the way things are looking down there. I mean, that's.
But here's the deal: on January 3rd, you're hosting the LA Rams, and that is I would not wish that on my worst enemy.
No,
especially with the way that the Rams are built. So it's going to be a bumpy end of the season. So they need all hands on deck.
Yeah, and it's going to get ugly. It's going to get ugly.
We were not kind to the Buccaneers during our season predictor.
No, we weren't.
And it's like with this drama and tension with your 2 biggest stars, it's only going to get worse. Todd Bowles, I really think that he needs to check to see whether his seat is burning him.
Yeah.
Because at the end of this season, either Baker Mayfield and Vita Vea go out the door, or Todd Bowles gets fired, or both.
Yeah, I think it's a both. I think it's a both situation. I think you're going to see a house cleaning go on in Tampa after the season.
That's me sweeping out the caboose.
Yeah, that's what's about to happen. I mean, he's going to have, and you wonder if his seat's got him, is burning him. I mean, he's going to need some ointment. I mean, because his ass is going to be torched.
Either that or Crisco.
Yeah, something. Goodness gracious. But we got other stuff going around the league. Let's talk about the Cardinals. This one kind of hurt the Cardinals. They have that rookie offensive lineman Chase Basantis, who they drafted 34th overall in the second round out of Texas A&M. Yeah, he tore his MCL. It's going to require surgery. He's going to miss most, if not all, of the 2026-27 season. He's been placed on IR.
Oh no!
Yeah, so Chase Basantis, who we loved coming out of the draft out of A&M. So he's going to be gone for the season. I mean, Cardinals, it's like they're desperately trying to fix their offensive line, and no matter what they do, they just can't fix it.
They can't do it.
It's like they do the right thing. They draft. I mean, Basantis is a good player, and they draft the right guy for the situation. And yeah, it's like, oh, we're not going to be able to protect Jacoby Brissett now. He's just going to get the hell beat on him. If Brissett even takes that starting job, I still believe that Carson Beck is going to be the starter. At some point this season, Beck is going to take that job, in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's happening. Also for the Cardinals, rookie running back Jeremiah Love, he did suffer a high ankle sprain in preseason action. The team has said they will not put him in for the rest of the preseason just so he'll be ready for week 1. So
I have one word response for that. Duh.
Yeah, I like the idea of putting him in for the preseason, which that's great, like just for brief periods. But yeah, let's not put him in for like long periods of time. They had him going like 14 carries, 72 yards. Like it was like, why is he getting a full workload?
I mean, well, maybe, I get it if you want to try to test the waters and see where you're going to be. Is Tyler Algier going to be the starter? Is Jeremiah Love going to be the starter? I mean, first of all, you drafted Jeremiah Love and then you signed Tyler Algier.
Well, I mean, to be fair, it was reverse order. So, I mean, they picked up Algier first.
Yes.
But I still, frankly, I didn't understand the Jeremiah Love pickup anyway. I felt like there were other needs on that team.
Right.
I felt like, why didn't you just go after a quarterback early? I understand we can get Carson back late. And listen, go after your quarterback first, or go. You had so many other needs on that squad.
Yeah, and then you went running back first round, and because we talked about it, during our lead up to the NFL draft.
Yeah,
we thought about the Cardinals are going to do this, the Cardinals are going to do that.
Algier as an RB1 would have broken 1,000 easy.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, Algier hasn't gotten hurt. He's not a guy that gets hurt.
Right.
And he took on a full workload in Atlanta, did the job, and like in the time he was on pace for over 1,000 yards easily. So why wouldn't you just say, oh, Tyler Algier's my guy? And I get it. Jeremiah Love, he was the sexy pick at the time.
Right.
Let the other teams just take Jeremiah Love, because there was a team that was going to take him that early. And I'm not saying Jeremiah Love's a bad player.
No, not at all.
But was he the team need?
No. That's the point. We're not crapping on the player. We're crapping on the decision. Yeah, the organizational decision.
Yeah.
You kind of wonder why the Arizona Cardinals have been circling the drain in the NFC West for years now, and it's because of stuff like this.
Yeah, he's gonna go out, and is he gonna sell a lot of jerseys? Sure. Is he gonna go out and is he gonna be a special player in the NFL? Yeah, he's gonna be a special player in the NFL. I like Jeremiah Love, but the problem for him is going to be where he went.
Mm-hmm.
The problem for him is going to be, like you always see great players get drafted to junky organizations and then they don't pan out and everybody wonders why.
Right.
And LaFleur, he might be onto something. LaFleur is a little bit different. He's the brother of Matt LaFleur over in Green Bay. So, I mean, Mike LaFleur may be onto something. We'll find out. But, at the end of the day, I didn't like the decision at the time. I just didn't think it was what you needed in the moment. It didn't make a lot of sense to me when you needed a franchise quarterback and Jacoby Brissett's about to start for you this year. Yeah, it's like,
first of all, the guy went 1-11 last year.
Yeah,
and to be fair, the Cardinals defense was one of the worst defenses in football.
Mm-hmm.
And that one play, I will never forget that Titans Cardinals game.
Oh, the fumble,
the fumble, the interception that turned into a fumble that turned into a touchdown for the Titans. It was the most rinky-dink Keystone Cops play I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And,
it was,
and that cemented it for me as saying, hey, Arizona sucks on defense.
Yeah.
It's like, so there you go.
And we were not kind to them in our season predictors.
No.
You want to talk a team that we treated like crap. We
were surprised we gave them more than one win.
Yeah,
like 3-14.
Yeah, most there.
I think one of us actually gave them an 0-17 death sentence.
I gave them a 1-win year. It's going to get ugly for them. I'm not looking forward to watching the Arizona Cardinals this year. Other than if
they happen to play the Vikings,
then I'll be like,
yay! You'll be licking your chop.
Yeah. Elsewhere around the NFC West, let's talk about the 49ers. They got corner Nate Hobbs, there we go. He suffered a groin injury. He'll be out for a few weeks. Nate Hobbs, if you recall, used to play for the Vegas Raiders before they moved to Vegas. They were in Oakland. But Hobbs, not a bad corner. He's more of a corner 2. But in the time that he played with the Raiders, there was a period there where he was red hot. It was like, who the hell is Nate Hobbs? He came out of nowhere. He's been sort of a journeyman around the league. He's been kind of moving around, but he goes to the Niners. I feel like he's a really good fit for the Niners. He goes out and he suffers a groin injury, though, so he'll be out for a few weeks. They're going to be without him. Also, they went out and signed Khalil Herbert. Well, now he's gone. They cut Khalil Herbert.
And he's gone.
Yeah, and he's gone. So running back Khalil Herbert, who we remember most recently with the Chicago Bears, yeah, he gone. So they go out and they cut Khalil Herbert and thin up that running back room a little bit.
Yeah, maybe he's a good free agency pickup. Who knows?
He might be. Khalil Herbert hasn't really been relevant for several years. And when they said they signed him, I was a little surprised that, Khalil Herbert's still around. Like, he's still a guy. Like I didn't know he was still in the NFL. Like, nobody really knew that Khalil Herbert was still in the league. And then Khalil Herbert pops up and it's like, oh, and then they cut him. And it's like, oh, well, that's why we haven't heard much from Khalil Herbert. Also around the NFC West, the Seahawks just continue the rich continue
the
to
rich.
get richer.
Yep.
My goodness. So let's talk about the Seattle Seahawks. First of all, they go out and sign Trayvon Diggs. It's a 1-year deal. Yeah. So they get Trayvon Diggs. I know you were very much hoping that the Lions would go out and sign him.
So Brad, I got to do this for you.
You having an unnatural allegiance to losers is not like you.
Because, brother, I mean, he was on your field. He was practicing with your team.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here, Brad, hey, knock, knock. We need corners. And getting a guy the caliber of Trayvon Diggs.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, that would really get some people excited. But then, you let him slip through your fingers.
I think he would have been an upgrade to Terrion Arnold for sure. And
anybody would have been an upgrade to Terrion Arnold.
I mean,
Jeez, what are you talking about?
you lose Terrion Arnold. I mean, Ennis Rakestraw is dealing with injury, right? So he suffered the groin injury. I think it's a groin injury. Oh no, I think it was a shoulder actually. But he suffers an injury, and so Ennis Rakestraw is a little banged up. And you got the opportunity to bring on Trayvon Diggs. It would have been an upgrade over what you currently have. You've got a defensive coordinator that loves to bring blitz, and and it seemed like. Kelvin Shepard, your defensive coordinator, was going to be bringing a lot of blitz, a lot of Brian Flores style stuff, right? That just kind of seemed like the direction it was going to be going, and instead, you guys kind of let the guy go out the door, and away we go. What's funny about this whole situation is, so Terrion Arnold also had signed a 1-year deal with the Seahawks, but he got placed on the commissioner's exempt list. So Terrion Arnold gets placed on the commissioner's exempt list. He will not be in the league this year. Yeah, so he ain't getting paid
Right.
because of all the felonies and whatever the case may be.
The NFL looked at that situation and were like, nah, bro, you're good.
Yeah. Roger Goodell said, no, absolutely not. He's got what 4 felonies. He's looking at life in prison. So I mean,
you listen, and we give Roger Goodell crap, on this. I mean, not on this podcast, but just in general. I mean, the NFL fans have booed him at the NFL draft events, and but in this case, say what you will about him. I mean, the man has modernized the NFL, and I'm not going to go on a rant here. I'm just going to say that this is one of those things where even he was like, yeah, this guy's bad news.
Yeah, he basically they said if he gets signed that he'll be placed on the exempt list. He didn't officially sign with the Seahawks, but they said that he will land on the commissioner's exempt list if he does get signed. So basically nobody is going to sign him,
right?
Because he'll wind up suspended anyway. So he ain't getting paid. He ain't going to be playing. He ain't going to be in the league. It's just you're done until your case is done.
Right.
He could wind up in prison for life. 4 counts of kidnapping, 4 counts of armed robbery. I mean,
it's stupid.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. It's dumb. It's a dumb TikTok-esque skit.
Oh yeah, dumb stuff.
Dumb stuff.
Yep.
And the league is like, we're not going to tolerate that bullshit.
Yeah, you're a first-round pick, and somebody robbed your Airbnb, so you're going to go have people beat the hell out of them, and you're a mobster,
right? You think you're a thug? He's a thug.
Yeah.
Well, we don't deal with thugs here.
Yeah, you're gonna sit on a live video and watch your mobster buddies beat the hell out of somebody and tell them, yeah, cut his finger off, like. What are we doing? It's insane. So yeah, like
it's like, the more this story starts to unfold, the more it just goes,
yeah, it's ugly.
It's not The Godfather.
Yeah, it's just wild. The fact that that was a thing, and some of the stuff I've been reading about it, it's like, is this real life? Like, what is this? So we'll see what goes on with Terrion Arnold, but he is facing the 8 different felonies, which is just wild. We'll see if he winds up back in the league, if he winds up going to jail for life. We'll find out. Also, let's talk about Devin Witherspoon. The Seahawks, they signed him to a 4-year, $132 million deal. $33 million per year, $101 million guaranteed. He is the highest paid corner in NFL history with that contract. He was the number 1 corner last year.
He's the number 1 quarter. He's the highest paid corner right now.
Yeah, right now. But he was the number 1 corner last year per Pro Football Focus. He had an 89.9 grade with an 84.6 coverage grade, which was second at his position, 91.8 pass rush grade, which was third at his position, 86.7 run defense grade, which was second at his position. He was the best corner in football last year, and it was not close. No, he was picked number 5 overall in the 2023 NFL draft. We remember that. We thought it was an excellent pick. And here we are. Devin Witherspoon gets signed to the big deal. Seahawks doing the right thing.
Yep.
Getting him locked down to a long-term deal, fresh off the Super Bowl win. He's a stud.
Yep. He had 54 tackles by himself. He had 1 interception, which is kind of low for him. 10 total quarterback pressures, and he only allowed 46 catches all season.
Yeah.
So when you allow, like, there's a lot of ball chucking and there's a lot of ball catching in the NFL over 17 or 18 weeks. And if you only allow 46 of those to get past you, even if you were only targeted, like, let's say you were only targeted 80 times, that's a 50%. You're only allowing 50% of catches to go through.
That's basically good. You put Devin Witherspoon on the one side of the field, and he cut off that whole side of the field. That's basically what went on last year. I mean, they said, all right, you're gonna be our number 1 guy. And he was the shutdown corner for that team, and he's been phenomenal. So they get him signed to the long-term deal. They do the right thing. In Seattle, they've always been a good organization for signing players long-term, good players that they should keep in the door. They've been good about it for a long time, and here they are. They do the right thing. They get Devin Witherspoon. They keep him locked down. Cornerstone player. He was the best corner in football last year. They do the right thing.
Right. This is an example of an organization that does things correctly.
Yeah, they do things correctly, and they're very similar to the Baltimore Ravens in that respect. They sign the right players to long-term deals. That's just what it is. We've got a comment from YouTube here, actually.
Yep. I'm pulling it up right now.
Yeah, we got a comment from YouTube here, and
it says here that my team: Drake May, JT, Devin Achan, AJB,
AJ Brown. Yep,
AJ Brown, George Pickens, Kenny Walker.
Okay.
Harold Fannin. My friend offered me JSN and Tedero for a Devin Achan and AJ Brown. 10-team redraft PPR. That's an interesting thing. I mean, we'll take some time after the news. Have time to discuss fantasy, but just seeing that on the outside, I'm like,
It's not horrible. It's actually not horrible. The thing about and just jumping into that real quick, just from a fantasy perspective. One thing I'll point out is I don't entirely trust Achan this year. I don't. If he's one guy that I don't trust based on the team that he's with. He's going to get a full workload, but he's all they've got over there on the offensive side of the ball. I don't trust what they're going to be doing. They're going to be running him to death, and if they're going to run him to death, here we go. He's going to get killed.
Right, and the Miami Dolphins have absolutely nothing. They have Malik Willis and nobody else.
Yeah, Malik Willis and barely any offensive line. If it was me, I'd be considering it, and
he'll get work. He'll get numbers, but
JSN's going to get numbers. Now, don't be surprised with JSN if there's a little bit of a regression, because you're not going to get that type of production all year, like every year. Like it would just be, you'd be crazy to think you're going to get that level of production every year. Ted McMillan, I like Ted McMillan. I drafted Ted McMillan. I drafted him yesterday. So, I mean, that might be a guy that you might be considering. I'm not entirely against that trade. I'm not. If you get JSN and Ted McMillan out of that, and we don't know what AJ Brown. I avoided AJ Brown because of the attitude stuff. Because he's got such a bad attitude. You just don't really know what he's going to do. We do half PPR in ours, 10-team redraft, half PPR. I would actually be considering that trade. I'd actually be leaning toward doing it, in my opinion. That's just my opinion, though. Other people may feel the other way, but to me, I'd be leaning into doing it. I'm not a fantasy expert. I'll throw that disclaimer up. It's not a bad draft, though. It looks like you got some pretty rock solid players. I'm pretty impressed with it, but. Yeah, I would be leaning into doing that trade, in my opinion.
And then as far as the Dolphins are concerned, very quickly, I mean, it's not like they have the easiest schedule.
No, it's a tough schedule.
It's pretty. I mean, you're hosting the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, period. End.
Yeah.
So that means you're going up against the AFC West, and each AFC team has to go up against an NFC division, and the division they drew was the NFC North.
A tough division.
Good luck.
Yeah, it's a very tough division.
They're on the road against the Vikings. They're on. They host the Detroit Lions. They got to go to Buffalo on November 22nd when it's butt cold out there.
Yeah, they do not do well in the cold.
Yeah, they got to travel to Mile High to go against the Denver Broncos.
Oh yeah.
No, I mean that's just not.
I don't trust Achane, and if you look at the teams that Achane is actually going to be taking on,
right, and then you have to go. On December 20th, you have to go to Green Bay.
Yeah,
I mean the frozen tundra.
Yeah.
Lambeau Field is not really, is not known for being the best turf. It's going to be rough.
And if you look at the teams they're actually going to be taking on, they're all really good run defenses. Mm-hmm. A lot of them are. So, I mean, to me, if I had an opportunity, as long as you are okay at the running back position, I'd be paying attention, because you obviously don't want to short yourself at running back. But if you got some decent middle of the road running backs, I'd be considering making that move. That would be just my opinion. And if you have some okay running backs, and then what I did, I realized that I was a little short at running back. I have 3 rock solid running backs, and I said, okay. And I wound up taking their handcuffs. Chase Brown, Tony Pollard. I took Nick Singleton. Chase Brown. I took Samaje Perine. I took Jadarian Price. I got Zach Charbonnet, stuck him on IR. So I mean, you just have to do certain things to mitigate a potential issue. So don't be surprised if, that's a thing. But continuing with the Seahawks discussion, getting back on track here, wide receiver Jake Bobo gets carted off the field with what is presumably a serious knee injury at Friday's practice.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we don't know what's going to happen with old Jake Bobo here. It sounds like he's probably done for the year, though. Anytime the cart comes out on the field,
it's never a good thing.
Yeah, it's not good. We like Jake Bobo here, though. Good player, good wide receiver. He's come around and been very, very good for the Seattle Seahawks, or for the Seahawks for a while. Sort of wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3. I mean, he's like a wide receiver 3 with wide receiver 2 upside. That's kind of what he's filled in admirably as a wide receiver 2 for that team. Been very good, and really on occasion he's filled in as a wide receiver 1 and done that admirably at times. So he's done quite well, but to see him go down, that's kind of a sucky thing to see. Good luck to Jake Bobo. We hope he recovers quickly. Let's talk about the Texans. They got some stuff going on. First of all, they released linebacker Sion Takitaki with an injury settlement after he was placed on IR. He had previous stints with the Browns, Vikings, and Patriots. Takitaki is not a bad player. A decent linebacker, more of a rotational guy. Didn't put up monumental numbers through his career. Kind of a second stringer, but he has made some decent plays throughout his career. He's not a bad player, but a little surprised that they let him go. He's a Houston Texans kind of guy all day long, so it was a little kind of surprising to me that they let him walk out the door. But Sion Takitaki is officially a free agent. The Texans also have bigger issues, though. They have bigger issues. Wide receiver Jaden Higgins suffers a torn ACL in practice. He's going to be out for the 2026-27 season.
Oh, no.
All right, Alex, we got to ask the question. Is it Tank Dell time? With this Jaden Higgins injury, is Tank Dell going to be the Tank Dell of old? Are we going to, is this, obviously we haven't seen Tank Dell in a hot minute. I mean, is it Tank Dell time?
I fully expect it to be, yes. Because as you know, Tank Dell missed, was it Tank Dell or Nico Collins? One of those guys.
Tank
Dell missed the entire season last year because he was out with a big injury, and now he's coming back. So this is an opportunity. And my brother, the Package Andrew Steele, one of the newest member of the Bob Wilson Memorial League.
Yes, sir.
Big shout out, and big shout outs to Justin Beach and Brandon Gunder. Longtime fans of the show. We appreciate your support. Package, he goes up there and he gets Tank Dell and Tank Bigsby back to back.
Yep.
So I thought that was a very impressive move. Bold move.
Yep.
And, especially in the light of this injury, Tank Dell, is a great wide receiver. I mean,
Tank Dell, if you recall, Tank Dell for a period there was outperforming Nico Collins. He was out. Let's be real about it. He was out there outperforming Nico Collins for a stretch of games. And so I myself, and funny enough, you mentioned Brandon Gunder. In Brandon Gunder's league, I had Tank Dell for a period, for about an 8-game period. And Tank Dell was putting up some numbers when we were doing that. It was an experience to see him play. And he wound up getting hurt, and he was done for the year, and whatever the case may be. The following year, he gets his leg just mangled. It was horrific.
It was bad. So,
but he is like, Tank Dell was a wide receiver too on that team technically, but it was very much a 1A, 1B type of situation. And Tank Dell is one of those guys like where he needed to fill in as a wide receiver 1. He filled in as a wide receiver 1. I want to see if coming off a serious injury, a big time injury like that, can Tank Dell come back and be Tank Dell? Yep. Can he be that guy coming off of an injury like I mean, it's like an Alex Smith level injury where your leg got horrifically damaged.
A Nick Chubb level injury, which we'll talking about him in a second.
Yeah. Are you going to be able to come back and be Tank Dell?
Yeah.
And that's what I need.
Are you going to pop, more than higher than a 73.1 overall grade, a 73.6 receiving grade? That's what he did in 2024. He had 81 targets, 51 receptions for 667 yards and 3 touchdowns. So that's pretty productive.
Well, over a small stretch of games too. I mean, it wasn't like he played all 17 games, because before the injury. So I mean, because he didn't play at all last year, and because he got hurt in 24.
He got 100 yards against the Kansas City Chiefs in Week 16.
Yeah, he was playing good ball. I mean, like I like Tank Dell. I like him a lot. I really hope that he comes back, and then in turn, because of this injury to Jaden Higgins, Texans go out and they make a couple of moves. A couple of guys that I had forgotten about. They go out and sign wide receiver Sterling Shepard to a 1-year deal.
Oh, he's still around?
Exactly. And then they go out and sign wide receiver Zay Jones to a 1-year deal, the former Jacksonville Jaguar.
Okay.
So they go out and sign him to a 1-year deal. So interesting stuff. The Texans making some wide receiver moves, kind of rebuilding that wide receiver room because of the injury to Jaden Higgins and Tank Dell. I mean, as far as I know, Tank Dell has been cleared for a lot of the 11-on-11 stuff. So, and a lot of this stuff is going to not just hinge on Tank Dell. It's going to hinge on the performance of CJ Stroud. It's going to be the CJ Stroud show over here.
Right. And there's also another question that must be posed, and Brandon was smart enough to pose it. Can Tank Dell stay healthy?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the question of the day.
Got to stay healthy. That's going to be,
because again, what do we preach here on this show? Availability and reliability.
Yep, that's it. And elsewhere around that division, let's talk about the AFC South. They got some stuff going on. First of all, the Titans go out and sign running back Dearness Johnson to a 1-year deal. Hey, Dearness Johnson. When's the last time we heard from that guy, the former Cleveland Brown? I don't know if anybody remembers. A few years back, when Jerome Ford went down, Dearness Johnson came in and actually put up some freaking numbers. And everybody was like, who the hell is Dearness Johnson? And like, he became one of the hottest waiver wire claims for a hot minute there. It was like, oh, Dearness Johnson. I remember in fantasy, he was a big deal for a hot second. So get ready for that. Dearness Johnson is out there with the Titans now. Also, the Colts making a big move. This one actually drew some headlines. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about this. Keenan Allen gets signed to a 1-year, $8.32 million deal with the Colts. This raises questions to me, this signing, because Alec Pierce is hurt,
right?
And he's dealing with the ankle injury. We know this ankle injury to Alec Pierce, you just signed Alec Pierce to a huge contract. How serious is the Alec Pierce injury at this point? There's a lot of questions for me about is this injury like that serious? How bad is this injury actually? Is this more serious than we initially thought that they're letting on? That you needed to pay $8 million to Keenan Allen to bring Keenan Allen in. I
mean, it does raise a whole lot of questions, and apparently the Indianapolis Colts are the only ones holding the answers. And if they're keeping things tight to their chest, I would probably say it's because they don't know yet. I mean, they need him to get some testing. They need to get him to get some X-rays or scopes or something. But it's a contingency plan for sure.
It is,
and it's not a bad contingency plan. I mean, Keenan Allen's a great wide receiver, but here's the thing: if you're giving a bag to a wide receiver and then he gets like hurt, then it's like, okay, how much of a are you mashing the panic button as an Indianapolis Colts fan?
Yeah, I mean, I'd be mashing the panic button because first of all, Michael Pittman.
Right.
He
ain't getting any younger.
Well, he's gone. He's in Pittsburgh.
Oh, there you go.
Got Pittman in Pittsburgh, and so he's gone. And then you got Alec Pierce, who he's hurt, so you don't know what's going on with him. So that leaves you with Tyler Warren. It's a tight end, really great tight end. And then you got Josh Touchdowns.
Yeah,
right?
Josh Downs, which I mean, he can fill in the role, but I mean, he's not a wide receiver one.
Yeah, and is he going to be your wide receiver one? I drafted him because I'm like, well, shit, they don't have anything else over there. Keenan Allen is over there, but is Keenan Allen going to be wide receiver one, or is it going to be Downs? Keenan Allen just signed to a deal, just signed. Yeah, guy hasn't been in camp. I mean, it's interesting. Is he going to be the new Michael Pittman? Is that what they're hoping at 36 years old that he's going to, because he's an older guy. I don't know. I don't buy it. There's something going on there.
Right. Yeah. There's something wrong. There's something wrong in the Kool-Aid there.
Yeah. It's something has gone awry with the Indianapolis Colts in that situation. So
don't forget who you got under center. You got Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
Which, there was a string of games where he was red hot. And then he fell off a cliff.
Yeah, fell off a cliff, and then he got hurt. He's the Zion the potato. He's not old, just experienced. Yeah, so am I. And I'm pushing 40. That's what I like to call it too. Also, the Giants trade offensive guard Daniel Falele to the Jags in exchange for a 2027 6th-round pick. So the Jags, they had an interesting thing. So they have this comes on the heels of a couple of injuries that they had. First of all, their offensive guard, Patrick McCarry, he underwent a back procedure. He's expected to miss some time. Head coach Liam Cohen said he expects McCarry to play at some point this season, but there's no timetable for his return. So they lose their offensive guard, their starting guard, and then they start looking for a guard. Now, then you get this situation where the Giants are dealing Falele, who is a former Baltimore Raven. They trade Falele over to the Jags for a 2027 6th-round pick. Now, Falele, he spent his first 4 seasons, he's only 26 years old, spent his first 4 seasons with the Ravens, went to free agency, followed John Harbaugh to the Giants, and the Giants must not have liked him very much because they deal him to the Jags for the 2027 6th-rounder. And I would expect that Falele, who's a massive human being, by the way, he is humongous. He is going to start in that offensive guard spot for the Jaguars and fill in for McCarry in the meantime. So those two stories kind of go hand in hand. It's interesting that John Harbaugh would be willing to just deal him after bringing him in and making it a point to bring this guy in that knows your system, that you've been.
So what's the deal? I mean, did they find something, or it's like, okay, well, we'll deal him to Jacksonville. We'll throw him a bone.
Yeah,
because I'd be curious to see if the Giants and the Jaguars play each other this year.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, so I can look up the schedule game and see for sure. But,
but the Jags, this is, I get it. You're trying to get yourself an offensive guard that's going to fill in the situation, but it's. I don't know. Well, Falele's not a 1-for-1 from Makari, but it is what it is.
Right. I mean, it's basically you're trading a Ferrari for not a Gremlin, but
for a Malibu.
Yeah,
that's kind of what it is.
For a mid-size sedan.
Yeah. That's kind of what you're looking at.
It'll get you where you need to go.
Yeah. For now, it's just if Makari doesn't have a timetable for his return, you're talking about 8 games. I mean, that'll be interesting.
The Jaguars do indeed play the New York Football Giants on Sunday, November 22nd.
Now, wouldn't it be something if Falele gets just blasted by the Giants? And imagine and think about who the Giants have in that front 7. My goodness.
Oh, it's terrifying.
My goodness.
And it's also, it's at MetLife. So number one,
the turf monster.
The turf monster.
Yeah.
So that's not a good idea either. So very interesting.
Yeah, that'll be a fun one. Also, the Jags have running back LaQuint Allen. He's going to miss the rest of training camp and preseason after suffering a soft tissue injury in practice. LaQuint Allen was a guy. So he's supposed to be the backup. Originally, he was supposed to be the backup to Bashal Rootin' Tootin'. We don't know who the backup is going to be now over there. That'll be a question that we're going to have to take a look at. But LaQuint Allen did suffer an injury.
But that just means Basil Tootin needs to stay healthy the entire year.
Yeah, right. So we're gonna see how that works out for the Jags. So they've got very little behind him. I'd have to look up and see who actually is the third stringer. If you could do that, that would be awesome. But we don't have a third stringer over there with the Jags. Speaking of the Giants, because we were just talking about them, they got some fun stuff going on. First of all, they go out and sign running back Najee Harris to a 1-year deal. This is a weird move.
So real quick, it's Basil Tootin, Chris Rodriguez Jr.
Oh yeah, that's right. This is Chris Rodriguez,
and then Amir Abdullah's in the 4 slot.
Yeah, so I mean it'll be Chris Rodriguez behind Basil Tootin, but actually there was for a weird minute, a lot of people thought Chris Rodriguez was going to be the RB1 over there.
Yeah,
I don't think Rodriguez is going to be the number 1 over there, but I mean, it is what it is. But the Giants go out and they signed Najee Harris to a 1-year deal. Cam Scattaboo was set to be the RB1 for a while. A lot of people have been excited about Cam Scattaboo. Kind of looks like they're going to wind up going with a running back by committee sort of thing. Cool. I get it. That's fine. But yeah.
Well, here's the deal. I also think that they're banking on the idea that Cam Scattaboo could possibly hurt himself again.
Well, yeah. I mean,
have you seen the way he plays?
He's got a brain that's made of mashed potatoes.
Yeah, and
they're extra fluffy,
right?
Extra fluffy mashed potatoes in that head right now with all the punishment. He plays old school football, but bro,
yeah, I mean, you do get worried that he's going to have like Tua level CTEs.
Man, I get worried about that young man. Goodness.
I love the way he plays.
Goodness gracious.
I mean, he's a bulldozer, but so this is probably a backup plan going, he's probably going to get hurt again.
Well,
he's going to do something dumb.
They probably don't like the idea of Tyrone Tracy being behind him, and Tyrone Tracy having the fumbling issues and whatever the case may be. And John Harbaugh does not like running backs that fumble the football. So that's
as well you shouldn't like that.
Right. And in turn, the Giants go out and cut Juju Smith-Schuster. So if you recall, they went and signed several receivers in the offseason. Juju Smith-Schuster was one of them. Justin Beach says, yeah, he's Gronk 2.0. Yeah, you're damn right he is. But Juju Smith-Schuster gets cut. They signed a plethora of receivers. There's that word I like to use. Plethora of receivers. They go out and Juju Smith-Schuster was one of them. Well, he gone. The Giants go and get rid of him to make room for Najee Harris, it seems. So honestly, you won't be doing yourself a disservice if you pick the guy up off free agency. No,
I mean he's still a decent wide receiver.
Juju has shown that he can still be a decent wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3, depending on the team and depending on the scheme, depending on where he goes. He's shown that he can do it. Mm-hmm. So it's just a matter of where he goes. I mean, he did halfway decent over there with the Kansas City Chiefs, and a lot of people forget that. He was not bad with the Chiefs. So I want to see if Juju gets picked up somewhere. A little bit of an attitude issue. He is getting a little long in the tooth. So we'll see how that works out. But he winds up getting cut by the Giants. Also around that division, let's talk about the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys have a few minor things going on. Let's see here.
Define minor.
They got a few minor things going on. They signed Von Miller to a 1-year, $5.5 million deal that has a maximum of $7.5 million with incentives. Just continuing to bolster the defense.
Yep.
The Cowboys, they saw their defense was the worst pass defense in football last year, and they said, we're going to fix that now.
Yep.
And they have been doing everything they can to fix that defense now.
Yep. And to have a player the caliber of Von Miller on that defense, he's a veteran, a veteran presence.
Look, he might have lost a step a little bit. He's a little older. But
there's not as much tread on his tires as there were when he was with Denver.
But he's kind of in the same vein as Bobby Wagner is right now.
I agree with that.
They can still play at a very middle, like him and guys like him and Harrison Smith and Bobby Wagner. Those kind of guys can play at a still above average level.
You know what I'm going to start calling him? I'm going to start calling him D. Von Miller. Because he wears those glasses, he kind of looks like Devon.
He's
Devon Miller. That's my new nickname.
He's going to come out there and he's going to play. He's going to ball out for them this year, though. He's going to be playing some linebacker. We're going to see Von Miller playing for the Cowboys. We're going to see if he can, continue doing what he's been doing throughout his whole career and stay healthy. That's always been a big thing for Von Miller over the last several years, is whether or not he can stay healthy. And that man was a former Super Bowl champion. People forget that. So we'll see what happens with Von Miller. And the Cowboys, they've been trying to fix that defense. I don't know if Von Miller is going to be the guy that does it, but it'll help. Also, the Commanders have some stuff going on around that division. They released kicker Jake Moody after struggling throughout training camp and preseason action.
Ruh-roh.
Sounds like Drew Stevens has won the starting kicking job. He'll be the team's kicker for the 2026 season. But Jake Moody, Moody sunk his extra point, but a 29-yard field goal. He actually posted a 29-yard field goal. It went in, but bounced off the post to go in, and Moody apparently has not looked good throughout all of the offseason. So
listen, if you are a kicker in the National Football League, you have one job: get it between the uprights.
Yeah,
and as long as you can do that, you're good.
This has been a steep fall for grace for Jake Moody.
Very steep.
It's one of those things where, he got drafted. I remember Michigan, everybody loved him. Oh, yeah. And then he gets signed by the Niners, and he played really well in that first season. Yep. And then after that, it's just been just down the slope. It's all downhill from here. And he just went down the tubes, and he's been, missing kicks. And it has not been a good showing from Jake Moody for a while. So...
Do you think the UFL might pick him up?
Probably. Somebody will probably pick him up. He'll probably, if the league doesn't pick him up, if somebody in the league doesn't, he might wind up being a UFL guy. And it wouldn't surprise me, he's got the yips right now. Mm-hmm. That's what it is. He's got the yips. It's very David Bailey. He's got the yips. He's got to correct some stuff. And Moody got picked really early for a kicker too. I think he was like 4th round.
David Bailey, because we know that there's a linebacker by the name of David Bailey who we loved coming out of the draft.
No.
That's a different one, though.
No,
right?
yeah. I think it was David Bailey. Yeah, no, it was I think his name was David Bailey. But anyway, it was a kicker by the last name of Bailey. But he played for the Vikings very briefly. Mm-hmm. But anyhow, so in any case, the Jake Moody. He's fall from grace. Mm-hmm. From grace here. That's where we're at. I want to say it was David Bailey. That's going to bug me now.
Yeah.
But the former Vikings kicker. But anyhow, so that's what happens because he went from the Cowboys to the Vikings. So we were dealing with that. Also, let's talk about the Commanders' defensive tackle Jerzon Newton. He goes out and suffers a pectoral injury. Dan Bailey. That's what it was. Dan Bailey. There we go.
Google to the rescue.
Yeah, thank you. Commanders defensive tackle Jerzon Newton, he suffers a pectoral injury. So Johnny Newton is going to be missing significant time, according to head coach Dan Quinn. If you recall, he went in the second round a few years ago. He was a stud. We liked him a lot coming out of that draft. He's going to miss significant time, though. So here we go. Commanders already losing players.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that happens in the NFL all over the place. I mean, injuries are always commonplace. Ask me, I'm a Detroit Lions fan. I've seen it on our defense like for the past 2 or 3 years now.
Yep.
So, but it's still not good. You know, I mean, the Commanders need all the help they can get. We weren't too kind to them during our season predictors.
No.
Basically, Jaden Daniels needs to remain healthy throughout the entire season. Terry McLaurin needs to have the season of his life, and Bobby Wagner needs to keep doing what he's doing on defense.
If they bring him back.
If they bring him back.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's a question mark too. So, I'm holding out hope, but not a whole lot of it.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what the Commanders do. They're also cutting punter Matt Hack, which I'm a little surprised by. Matt Hack's a good punter. I was like, why'd you cut him? Silly as hell. So he must have gotten beat out by somebody, but they cut him. If I'm not mistaken, he played for the Buffalo Bills not too long ago. Also, Commanders quarterback Marcus Mariota suffers a sprained MCL that will sideline him for the rest of the preseason.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, head coach Dan Quinn says that the team doesn't plan to bring in another quarterback and anticipates Mariota to be ready for week 1. But they're not bringing in another QB. They're just going to say we're gonna ride it. That's how they're going to do it.
Bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see how it plays out for him.
Yeah, I was like, all right.
Again, Jaden Daniels needs to stay healthy. The minute he gets hurt is the minute you guys need to mash the panic button.
Yep, that's it.
And some people may already be doing that.
See, I would be, because Mariota is a high-end backup.
Right, high-end backup, and that's like not high praise.
Yeah, but still, I mean, you're only as good as your backup quarterback.
Right, and if your backup quarterback's hurt, that's a bad sign.
That's bad news. Let's talk about the Chicago Bears for a hot minute. Running back Kyle Monangai, he's set to miss several weeks due to a knee injury. So, the Bears already have had some injury issues this offseason. Obviously we had the Kobe Bryant injury that happened a couple weeks ago. Mm-hmm. Now they got this with Kyle Monangai. He's a backup running back. I get it, but DeAndre Swift hasn't had a career that, has been exactly the most healthy career in the world, right? I mean, we're talking about, a lot of injuries to DeAndre Swift throughout his career. So, and Monangai, he's out of Rutgers. He's a nasty runner. We liked Monangai coming out, 7th round pick. This guy, I think if he gets healthy, he can steal that job from DeAndre Swift if he gets a full workload. But he's got to get healthy by the time the season starts up. Yeah. And speaking of injuries, the Bears go out and sign defensive end Marcus Davenport to a 1-year deal. So he'll be hurt by week 6.
I'm gonna go ahead and say week 8.
Week 8, you're gonna give him a little longer, huh?
A little bit.
Yeah,
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, guy gets hurt every year.
We saw it in Minnesota. We saw it in Detroit. I mean,
we saw it with the Saints.
Yeah.
I mean, when he was with the Saints, he was hurt. When he got drafted over there, I mean, he was always hurt. He had one good year. I mean,
right, exactly.
I don't think he's completed a full season. I still don't think he has. I'd have to look, but I don't think he's completed a full season. Also around the NFC North, the Vikings linebacker and safety Jamal Adams suffers a knee injury in the preseason game versus the Giants last week. It's placed on season-ending IR.
Oh no!
So it's funny. We talked about Jamal Adams, and the first thing we said when he got signed is, man, he just needs to stay healthy because that's been a big problem for him.
Well, that didn't last.
First preseason game. It's like that South Park thing where it's just like, oh, I'm putting the money in and it's gone. Like, yep.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, it's like, okay, well, that's about it for that. But Jamal Adams, he'll be out for the rest of the season. He's placed on season-ending IR, so he gone. The Vikings, all the Vikings fans have been out here. I mean, shining the bat signal up, hey, Harrison Smith, come back. And I am 1000% on board with that. Harrison Smith still plays at a high level for a guy who's 38 years old.
Yes, sir.
Still plays above average ball. We could use that veteran presence. Theo Jackson ain't it.
Right.
Get a safety out there, please, for Christ's sake. Let's talk about the team that the Vikings just played, the Ravens. Center Danny Pinter, he gets carted off the field during the joint practice with the Vikings. He's placed on season-ending IR due to a torn patellar tendon.
Oh no!
So the Ravens, they lose their starting center basically.
Yeah,
I mean,
first of all, Tyler Linderbaum went to the Raiders.
Yep.
So then it's like, okay, we're gonna get this guy to start as our center, and now he's out.
Now he's gone. So it's like, well, goodness gracious, they can't catch a break.
Who's gonna protect Lamar Jackson?
Yeah, who's gonna play center over there? That's gonna be the question of the day. I mean, they're gonna have to sign a center. They're gonna have to do something. Another team that's going to need to sign a center is the Chargers. Center Tyler Biadasz. He suffers a torn ACL and damage to other ligaments in his left knee during a joint practice. He gets carted off the field. He's placed on IR. He's out for the season.
Oh, boy.
So
dropping like flies.
Yep. So Tyler Biadasz, he's gone. So a lot of centers getting hurt this offseason, by the way. I don't know what the hell is going on with these centers. But
I want to know what the heck they're doing with the team doctors over there.
Yeah, I mean,
on all of these teams.
Yeah, so the Chargers, they lose their center, so he's gone. So there we go. I think that's last year for Justin Herbert starting there, he lost both of his offensive tackles, and we saw how crazy that was for him and how quickly things just devolved into a disaster over there for the Chargers. Herbert got the hell beat out of him, last year. I think they still made the playoffs, but
barely.
Yeah, it got ugly awfully quick as soon as he lost most of the offensive tackles. Now they're talking about interior offensive line problems, and you want to get Omarion Hampton running the ball. Mm-hmm. He is a in between the tackles type of runner here, So it's going to get a little ugly there if they can't find themselves a viable center for the Chargers. Around that division, also the Broncos. They had an injury of their own. Defensive back Riley Moss currently dealing with a rib injury after leaving Friday's preseason opener. He walked off on his own volition, but holding his ribs. So that was a thing. Riley Moss, he's an interesting fella because he's been around as a corner. He's been moved around as a safety. I think he's better as a safety, but it is what it is. But he's dealing with a rib injury. The Broncos also did sign safety Taylor Rapp to a 1-year deal. So
that's Rapp.
Yeah, Taylor Rapp's been around the league for a while, former Buffalo Bill. He's been kind of hopping in and out with different teams and kind of making his way around the league. So that's a thing. So good on them for getting him around. Speaking of the teams around the NFC West, the Chiefs wide receiver Tyquan Thornton left practice early on Tuesday due to a hamstring injury.
That's no good.
So Mahomes losing a target there.
I mean, well, I wouldn't be pressing the panic button just yet, but Tyquan Thornton popped up on the stat sheet randomly.
Yeah.
All throughout the season last year.
There were so many occasions where Thornton would get open and they would just miss him.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
He's open deep. If he would have caught like 3 more passes, he probably would have got 3 more touchdowns.
Yeah, they miss him. They missed him more often than not. He was faster than hell, and he would come running down the sideline. You're like, oh man, they're bombing it out to Thornton. And it would just be overthrown, son of a bitch. Like he was right there,
overthrown, or he would drop it like Hollywood Brown.
Yeah, he had a couple of drops. I mean, it's just one of those things where it's like, man, Tyquan Thornton.
It's like, hey, yeah, we were keeping our eyes on him throughout the season last year. So I'm like,
I'm excited about Tyquan Thornton. I wanted to see if he could turn into like have himself like one of those big years where it was like, oh, he's just that big vertical threat.
Right. Kind of like a Brandon Ayuk before all the bullshit.
Yeah. Is he going to be that big time vertical threat down the sidelines? And we just wanted to wait and see. And it didn't happen because they never seem to connect. I don't know if Mahomes and him just don't have the connection or whatever the case, but we're going to find out. Also, Chiefs offensive tackle Josh Simmons is dealing with a back injury, which is not good for a quarterback like Mahomes, who's currently running around with a massive knee brace on.
Right.
So that's a thing. So we'll be kind of keeping tabs on that.
That man is not going to be able to scramble the way he used to.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry. And Boots is probably sitting there having an aneurysm back home going, DDT, don't do that.
Yeah,
sit him on the bench.
Yeah, Boots has been very adamant they need to leave him on the bench. So, I mean, we'll see what happens.
I mean, like you said, the mobility has been is affected even now.
It's been compromised.
It's been compromised. So It's like, what's that going to mean for the rest of the season?
Exactly. Also, the Raiders signed wide receiver Noah Brown to a 1-year deal, which I like that signing. It was quietly a good signing. They needed another receiver, and in turn, they go out and cut defensive tackle Benito Jones to make room for him. So making some room, they go out and sign Noah Brown. Quiet. It's sort of a depth signing, but they don't have much in the room. Jalen Naylor is their number 1 receiver, and that's it. So, question of the day, who's going to be wide receiver 1 over there? Who's going to be wide receiver 2? You got to kind of just peek around and see what's going to happen. So there you go. The Raiders making a few quiet moves for themselves and just trying to keep themselves semi-relevant. Let's talk about the Steelers. Well, first of all, let's talk about the Bills. The Bills got some stuff going on. Corner Max Hairston currently dealing with a groin injury. In other news, water is wet.
Yep.
Max Hairston, he's a guy we had so much hope for coming out of his draft.
Yes.
And he just hasn't been on the field. The guy's never healthy. I don't understand what the hell is going on with Max Hairston. He's been hurt every year.
It's almost sounding like Lewis Seen.
Yeah, he just gets hurt constantly. I don't know. He's starting to get to that level where we're talking about him as injury prone.
Yep.
And when it comes to Max Hairston, that's kind of where I'm at on him. He's a great player when he's healthy, but he's never healthy.
Right. And you don't want to be you don't want to have the injury prone designation, at least not with us.
Yeah, and it's kind of like J.K. Dobbins, great player when he's healthy, but he's never healthy. And that's the issue. Also, wide receiver Keon Coleman suffered a sprained foot and toe in Saturday's preseason opener. He has been seen walking around in a boot.
Oops, that's no good.
Yeah, so Keon Coleman, everybody had high hopes for him going into this season. Everybody keeps talking about how they expect Keon Coleman to have this, finally be the guy that everybody expected him to be. And
I'm not seeing it.
I don't see it. I just don't. I'm with you.
We were joking about how it was Keon Coleman in a room full of 2s. He's one of the 2s now.
Yeah, well, no, it was Khalil Shakir in a room full of 2s, and Khalil Shakir was the best of the 2s, and then now it's become DJ Moore in a room full of 2s, and Keon Coleman's
a
3, maybe a 4. I never bought Keon Coleman. I didn't like the signing. I didn't like the draft pick. I didn't like it. I've never been a big fan of Keon Coleman. Also, let's talk about the Dolphins. They got some stuff going on. They placed rookie edge rusher Mason Rager, who I was really big on IR. He gets waived with an injury settlement. So they waived him. It sucks. I like Mason Rager out of Wisconsin. I really had high hopes for that guy. We'll see if he makes his way back into the league. I like Mason Rager a lot. They also released kicker Zane Gonzalez from IR with an injury settlement as well. So sounds like we're going to see, I think they still have Jason Sanders over there, if I'm not mistaken. We'll have to see who the kicker is going to wind up being. But yeah, Zane Gonzalez gets released by the Dolphins with an injury settlement. So they move on from those 2 guys. And then the Patriots around that division, they signed offensive guard Greg Van Roten to a 1-year, $3 million deal worth up to $4.5 million with playing time incentives. He played last season with the New York Giants. He had a 65.4 PFF grade, not half bad. I like this signing, actually. It's a cheap deal. It's a low risk, high reward. Van Roten, not bad. Veteran guy. He's been around for a hot minute. I'm actually very okay with this deal on just 1 year, $3 million for a decent offensive guard, kind of rotational guy.
So you were talking about the Dolphins kicking situation. It looks like they have place kicker Riley Patterson
on the roster there. They have a former Jacksonville Jaguar.
Yeah, and then Bradley Pinion as the punter and the holder.
I like Pinion too. That's actually not a half bad group. Riley Patterson must have Zane Gonzalez getting hurt. They probably just decided to roll with Patterson at that point. But
sounds like it.
Yeah, but Greg Van Roten, I'm okay with this signing for the Patriots. I think he's a rotational guy. He's a guy that can fill in and definitely start effectively for what you want to do at the offensive guard position.
Mm-hmm.
Decent signing, 1 year, $3 million.
Yeah,
that's nothing.
No, not it's a very good. That's a good signing.
Yep. And also we got the Jets. Running back Breece Hall, he's expected to miss 2 to 3 weeks due to a groin injury.
Oh, boy.
Yep. So it begins.
Yep.
But, you know, the good thing for the Jets, the good news for them is Braylon Allen is still over there. And I think a lot of people are
against his will.
Yeah, right. I think a lot of people are kind of gearing up for the Braylon Allen show. People don't realize how good that guy was at Wisconsin. And a lot of people don't realize how good that dude is outside of the people sitting on this show.
Right.
You know, Boots has been
Pounding the table.
Pounding the table for Braylon Allen. And I don't blame him. Braylon Allen's a good player. I would be very excited to see what he could do. And if he gets a full workload and a full opportunity, bro, that dude is going to rock everybody's world.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Jets have an opportunity to do something smart for a change.
Yep.
You know, I mean, but you know, we've harangued them for years as being a government cheese organization.
Yep.
You know, we'll never forgive Woody Allen for basically looking at Jerry Jeudy and going, I don't like his Madden rating. Let's not draft him. Let's not get him from free agency. I'm like, okay, cool. You know, Browns picked him up, so there you go. Anyway, but we digress.
Yeah, at the end of the day, Braylon Allen is a guy that people need to watch because I think he could be a great running back in this league if he gets an opportunity.
Right, and if he doesn't get the opportunity with the Jets, he's going to want an opportunity elsewhere.
And somebody will give him that opportunity.
Yep.
Somebody will. Also, defensive tackle Aaron Donald has been trying out with the Rams. He tried out for the second time in the last 2 weeks as he continues to consider potentially unretiring to come back and play for the team.
Brother, if this man signs with the Rams,
if he comes back,
the Rams have won the Super Bowl.
I think they already won the Super Bowl.
I agree with you there. I mean, they're definitely loaded for bear.
I thought they won the Super Bowl before the Myles Garrett trade. I already had him set. I'm like, man, Jared Verse, he was one of the top edge rushers. He was, damn near leading the league in pressures. I mean, he had sacks. I mean, their defense was good. Their front seven was good. Nate Landman's a good linebacker.
I really hope that Jared Verse does well in Cleveland.
Yeah. They revamped their secondary. Everything was looking good. Everything. I mean, to me, I had the Rams before that trade. I said they're going to win the Super Bowl.
And then the Myles Garrett trade happened.
Yeah. And then the Myles Garrett trade happens. It's like, okay. And now we're talking about Aaron Donald coming back. I'm like,
that is terrifying.
It's like, just skip the season.
Have you ever did you remember that clip where Geno Smith was playing for the Seahawks and Aaron Donald just comes running down the gut? You see her go, oh my God.
Yeah, he's
that's how terrifying that man is.
He is built like a brick shit house. He's huge. Yep. It's like,
first ballot Hall of Famer for sure.
Oh, easily. So I mean, if he wins a second one, oh my God. Yeah,
forget it.
And then last but not least, the Steelers go out and sign defensive tackle Keanu Benton to a 4-year, $72 million extension. It's $18 million per year, $25.7 million guaranteed. Yep, he's ranked 13th in pass rush grade at his position in 2025 with a 74.5. This deal isn't a horrible deal, actually. Keanu Benton, to me, like his PFF grades don't reflect what he actually does. And that's the thing. Like a lot of people will sometimes that's what goes on. Because if you look at the Pro Football Focus grades, sometimes it'll reflect, great things. And then other times it's like, well, does it actually show the whole story? And in this case, for example, it says he has a 58.7 overall grade, and that's because his run defense isn't great, but his pass rush grade is a 72, and that's his game. That's been his big game since he's been in the league. He's been a pass rushing defensive tackle. That's what he does. So Keanu Benton, I'm okay with this signing, $18 million per year, given what defensive tackles are currently getting and what a lot of the high end, like the big time defensive tackles are getting, the $27, $28, $29 million. $18 million is actually a really decent number for him. So I'm totally on board with it. Keeps him with the team for the next 4 years. And hey, they get their guys. So Keanu Benton back with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I like this signing.
Yeah, I like it too, very much.
Yep.
And if you take a look at his defensive, like how many, the question you need to ask yourself is, how many pressures did he have? How many times did he rattle the quarterback? How many times did he get in the backfield?
Yeah.
That's the thing you have to look at. And, grades are one thing, But when you get into premiums, when you get into the premium stats, they're having a hard time loading for me. I'm not sure why, but the point is, take a look at the numbers. Take a look at where he has been spending his time. Did he, is he helping to stop the run? How many defensive stops does he have? How many times did he hurry up the quarterback, hit the quarterback, sack the quarterback? When
you get a little more granular, you actually see just how effective he's been for that defense. And that's the big thing. And I think, you and I are kind of on the same track where it's like, People might be underselling this a little bit and saying, oh, maybe that's not a good signing. No. Keanu Benton's a good signing. I like the signing. I'm happy with it. If I'm a Steelers fan, I'm going, hey, I like that deal, especially, $18 million a year. It's under market value.
Yeah, he had 33 pressures last year, 7 quarterback sacks, 7 quarterback hits, 19 hurries. He had a batted pass, 41 tackles, 12 assists. He only missed 8 tackles. 33 defensive stops and a forced fumble. Yeah. Anytime you can turn the ball over or attempt to turn the football over, that's what you want.
Yeah. He's a good player. I think I think that this is a very good signing for the Steelers. But with that, Alex, that is our news around the league, and that is our show for today.
Yes, sir.
We've got man, what a weekend. What a weekend, man. We got fantasy football in the books. We've got podcasts in the books. Last weekend we had the bachelor party weekend for our buddy Ray Collins. We got a lot going on. It has been a busy couple of weeks. We got his wedding coming around the corner. I mean, you and I will be standing in that wedding. It's going to be a wild few. The next month, we got football coming around the corner. I got fantasy drafts coming next weekend. I have my wedding anniversary. I've been married 6 years as of next weekend. My lovely wife will have dealt with me for 6 years.
Yeah,
so I don't know how she does it.
And she's a saint for doing so.
He is.
Speaking of your wife, let's get into some of our sponsors.
Yeah, let's talk about It's Your Time Massage. My wife Amanda, she runs that show. She's a wonderful massage therapist. She's the best of the best in the Metro Detroit area. If you're looking for a massage, you got to check it out. IYTmassage.com. She does Swedish and deep tissue massages. If you're looking for a little bit extra, you can get CBD oil for a little bit extra. You can get foot sugar scrubs. You can get red light therapy. You can get all that stuff. You got to check it out. IYTmassage.com to book yourself an appointment, or you can find her at It's Your Time Massage LLC on Facebook. Book yourself an appointment out here. And remember, folks, it's your time. Also, let's go ahead and talk about books right now. I Eat Cookies Out of the Trash by a wonderful author by the name of Tammy Pruitt. It's a fantastic book. It's based on her real life experiences dealing with body image and eating issues. And look, she shapes her books with her struggles and how to overcome them. And it's supported with research-based facts and accompanied by her professional advice. As a registered dietitian, she lets others know they're not alone in struggling with self-love, body image, and disordered eating. But listen, she's not your stereotypical health guru who runs 7 miles a day and judges people for the kind of unhealthy food they consume. But hey, she is running marathons these days, which is pretty sweet.
Absolutely.
Instead, she's like the friend you never had. She's the kind that encourages you and she motivates you to rise above those dilemmas. She takes you down memory lane where life pitted challenges against her and what she did to get through them. You got to check this book out. It's a great read. You can only get it on the .coms. You got to go to Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com. You can go to Apple Books. And you can get it in hardcover, paperback, or you can get it as a digital copy. You got to check it out. It's it's a great read. It reads like a conversation,
but not a boring one.
Exactly. You got to check it out. I Ate Cookies Out of the Trash. Fantastic book by Tammy Pruitt. So check that out. And Alex, what do you got going over there at Steel Twins Gaming?
Well, do you like video games?
I love them.
Do you like theater?
Yes, sir.
The Steel Twins Gaming may have just what you need. Whether it's the good old first-person shooter, an RPG, or your favorite story-based games, we have something that's built for everyone. And we have we have a series that nobody else does, at least not that I'm aware of. Voice acting. Every single week, my brother and I, the Package Age of Steel, will take a game that has a crap ton of dialogue, and we will act out the voice lines that with the voices in our heads that you see for the characters on screen. Sometimes we do our best to highlight the drama of the situation. Most of the time, though, we're just goofing off and having a good time. Either way, we're sure you'll be entertained. the schedule's been kind of weird.
Yeah, it's been a little wild these last few weeks.
I mean, I've been busy back up at the Steel Twins gaming studio in beautiful Traverse City, Michigan.
Yes, sir.
I will be driving back up there at the conclusion of this show. So, but will you follow us on Twitter at Steel Twins Alex to keep up to date on our shenanigans. We're usually on about 2:30 in the afternoon on a weekend, for the voice acting stuff. But if you need something during the week, the brother channel, Steel Twins Andy, is your destination for nostalgic Mondays, Nintendo Tuesdays, FPS Wednesdays, Indie Thursdays, and Open World Fridays.
Yeah, Nostalgic Mondays is the jam. I do love some Nostalgic Mondays. I play nostalgia games. You can see right behind me here, I got my Retron, and we were actually jamming some Tecmo Super Bowl. I got him a copy.
Yeah, and it's, I'm going to try to see if I can grab myself a Retron, and we're going to try to see if we can showcase Tecmo Super Bowl on Nostalgic Mondays.
Yeah, it's a fun game. It's a tough game. It's a great time. So you got to check that out.
As simplistic as it is, as the controls are, it's still very nuanced. And I don't think that there's anything, that kind of matches up to it. It's kind of weird.
It's a fun game. And it's one of those games where you first started, when you first play it and when it first came out, it was one of those games that it actually paid attention to how good certain players were and how certain players played and what different skills certain players had. It's one of those games, and it was really cool. It was almost like a precursor to Madden. It was a really cool thing. And also, let's talk about the artist formerly known as Big Willie Dubs Gaming.
Yep, No Shot Bot TTV.
No Shot Bot TTV. You got to check him out. Will is awesome. He's a streaming dad, man. That's what he is, and he's consistently inconsistent, as he puts it, but he is the streaming dad. A lot of his stuff is first-person shooters. He does a lot of FPS stuff over there at No Shot Bot TTV. You can find him on Twitch. You can find him on Kick. You can find him on Facebook. You can find him on X. You
can find him on the TikTok.
The TikTok, yeah. He does a lot of fun TikTok stuff, too. You can find him over there, but, man, he is very entertaining. A lot of first-person shooter stuff. He's a part of a gaming team called Team MVS.
Get it?
Yeah, there we go. But it's a great time, very entertaining. He also does other stuff where he eats nasty jelly beans, or he does the Hot Ones Challenge, or whatever the case may be. He'll threaten to shave off his beard and harass his wife.
His lovely wife.
But yeah, it's a good time. You got to check it out. Go to No Shot Bot TTV. Very entertaining stuff. But with that, folks, that is our show.
So we got a shout out again, Justin Beach, Grandin Gunder, members of the Bob Wilson Memorial League. Thank you guys so much for your continued support. It means more than you'll ever know. Thanks to Zion the Potato for always coming in clutch, not just in this stream, but in my streams as well.
Yeah.
And, and for everybody out there on Odyssey, on Spotify, on SoundCloud, listening to us each and every week, this show would not be possible without all of you.
Yeah, we've been getting every week we've been getting upticks in listenership. A lot of people have been tuning in, whether it's live, and we got people out on X, we got people out on Facebook and stuff like that have been joining us, and we appreciate that. Give us a follow. Go on Apple Podcasts, give us a rate. You can do that. Give us a rate, give us a review. We appreciate that type of stuff.
And when we're out for the NFL Combine, every year, it's one of our favorite trips. Come and say hi.
Yeah,
it's our mission to do a live show during the NFL Combine. We could probably do it at Googman House.
Yeah, that would be fun as hell.
That would be fun.
That would be fun as hell. But we want to be able to go out there and meet people. We're going to be out at the NFL Combine again this year coming up February. That is the current plan. We're going to be making plans for that. I've been sending the dates over for these guys, so that's going to wind up, actually, I believe it's in March this year. And
at the end of February, beginning of March.
Yeah, so we're going to be, it's like February 26th through March 1st, I think it is.
But sounds about right.
Yeah, so we'll be checking that out. But I'm going to be sending these guys, we're going to be making sure we have the dates all in order. And the NFL draft is going to be a little bit later this year, too. So we're going to be enjoying everything. We're going to be having a good time. When we come, we're going to be going live for the NFL draft when that happens. So don't be surprised to see us going live for the NFL draft stuff. We might do the 2 days. We might do the one. We'll see where we go. Well, we are definitely going to be at the NFL Combine. As long as things continue to go as they are, we will be at the Combine. So, folks, don't be afraid to say hi, give us a rate, give us a follow, give us a review, come on the live stream. You can talk with us. You can bug us. We love the fact that somebody came on and was asking us about fantasy football stuff. That's fun too. So love that. Getting the YouTube feed out there. That's a great time. So you can join us on YouTube as well. So keep on listening. We'll see you next time, folks, right here on the Outside Blitz.
I bet you listen to us again. And with that, pow, we're gone.